Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to wherever you are, and welcome to another Nerd Nation stream. This is our weekly update of stuff, and basically, this is also something that me and Roberto have in common this week. We've done three things this week. We have owned and bought Star Wars Squadrons as well as played it. We have watched The Boys episode 7 of season 2, and we've also watched episode 9, I apologize, of season 1 of Lower Decks, and we want to talk to you about these three particular things because we love these particular things. So let me just welcome my partner in crime, my co-host Roberto, cousin Chito. How you doing, mate?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm over the moon. All
I can
right.
tell.
Yes. Well, we well, me especially, I've been gagging for this game called Squadrons, Star Wars Squadrons, made by EA. It is a flight simulator game with the all the famous ships in Star Wars, your X-wings, your Tie fighters, your Y-wings, your Tie bombers, and all of that sort of stuff. So when this game came out on October 2nd, I started playing it immediately. First of all, games like this they tend to have a campaign mode. So campaign modes are usually nowadays a tutorial for the multiplayer, and this campaign mode, as far as I was concerned, was a bit of a tutorial for the multiplayer. But I was also expecting a epic Star Wars story, and in my opinion, I didn't get that. But we can talk about that right now. Let me just quickly pass this on to Roberto. He's also owns the game. How do you feel about this game so far, Roberto? How do you feel about the story?
Story's good. I've only played a couple hours of it so far, but I mean, really, my biggest fear with this game has come to fruition. Don't get me wrong; I don't hate the game, but it's just that it seems like you're right. It's going to be like a tutorial for the multiplayer, is what the story mode is, and then after that, that's all there is. And honest and truly, I was hoping for a pretty in depth and long campaign mode, kind of like the old X-wing or X-wing and Tie Fighter days. As you know, I've been gagging for something like that forever and a day.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I mean, you know, it is what it is. I'm enjoying it so far. I enjoy the camaraderie between the squad mates, um, mostly the rebel squad mates. I haven't really gotten too far into the Imperial squad mates, so I don't know. But I mean, the campaign mode seems okay. It seems like like a campaign from back in those games, back in the '90s, where you have an overarching mission over a couple missions, and then But it seems like in this one, from what I've read, it seems like it's only going to be like one or two campaigns worth of content, and then you either give up on it or move to multiplayer. So I guess I'm going to give multiplayer a shot with you, Zam, and that'll be coming on our Nerd Nation YouTube
Yeah.
channel, and then but we'll see how it goes.
Well, you got some footage I'm sure you can show us right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. There we
Yes.
go.
Now,
So
so go on. Go on. This is your footage. Go on.
so I mean, I just kind of started it at a random point, but I think it's just like, I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of fleet action going on, and I'll see if I can skip forward a little bit to maybe some action. Nah, this is just
You always
scanning
seem to
stuff.
be like just approaching it. There
I know, right? Here we go. Okay,
you
so
go. That was a good shot there, mate. So, as you can see, everything's in the cockpit right now. So that's how the game is. It's no third-person view. It is in the cockpit, and that's what makes it actually so difficult because with a third-person view, you can get an idea of who's behind you and stuff. In this game, if somebody's behind you, it's very difficult to get an idea of exactly where they could be. I have learned some tricks now. I mean, some of them it might sound kind of simple, but just immediately just turning around can benefit you. It's easier said than done, though, when you're moving really fast. A turn could be like a big U turn, depending on the vehicle you've got. It can be quite disorientating as well because you're in a 360 environment. You're in space. Every direction shit's going on. You don't even know what straight is because there isn't a straight, like a straight and up sort of thing. Um,
I
you
know I'm
have to
probably not justifying it too well.
No, you're
I
not
mean,
doing too, but you're not doing too badly. I mean, you're actually you kind of justifying how hard it can be. Um, Shit's happening all over the fucking place. Once you put,
I really feel like the first two missions is just kind of reorienting yourself to, the way the game is being played and yada yada.
look at all those shots he's taking. I mean, when you shoot at stuff, you do see explosions. Whether you destroyed it or not is another thing, but stuff will start blowing up as you shoot it at it as it should, and it's quite satisfying like that. You know them when you're connecting and when you're not, and look, boom, that shit's just blown up into smithereens. Very nice, and it's
I'm
kind of
skipping a
weird.
little bit further forward.
It's kind of weird at times because you're in space. Sometimes you don't think you're moving fast at all, and then you come close next to a cruiser or something, and you zoom right past it. It gives you an idea of how actually big these maps are, but it is just vastness of space. It looks like you're in a what is that? Are you in an X-wing? Yeah, you
Oh
are,
yeah,
aren't you? Yeah.
I haven't hit the A-wing yet. Well, I have, but that's in one of my later plays.
I was actually I mean like you do get to use the U-wing eventually in this game, and I was looking forward to some of the support ships. I'll be honest with you, when it comes to the customization, there is a lot, but then again, it doesn't seem enough as far as I'm
I'm pre-
concerned.
I'm pretty sure my X-wing gets totally trashed in this one. Like I don't think I die, but I definitely get like cracks in my windows and some of my circuits kind of blow
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, like see down there in the corner things are smoking.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah, no, this is classic back to the 90s. All this stuff used to happen in the 90s games too. Like all your equipment used to start shorting out and failing when your ship got and you didn't have repair bots back in the day. Like back in those games, you kind of had like if your targeting system went down, you had to fly the rest of the mission or start over without your targeting sensors.
Yeah,
Like it didn't just repair itself.
but well, as you can see, like this game is not as straightforward. It's not arcadey at all. Which is one of
Oh,
the
I
things I
did
do.
blow up. I forgot I blew up.
Which is one of the things I do like about it. But I'm starting to get into the multiplayer now, Bob, and I'll be honest with you, it is hard. It is really hard, and I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. The game can be quite frustrating. There was a couple of moments where things were flowing pretty well. Like I killed one guy, and then next I killed another and another, and I thought, yeah, I'm getting the hang of this. And next I'm getting killed all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Um, and that's totally fine. I'm a middle-aged fucking gamer, so are you. There's all these kids out there playing this shit. They're gonna have this unlocked, but I do expect there to be a lot of people of our age playing this shit. We're the guys who grew up with Tie Fighter versus X-wing, X-wing versus Tie Fighter, and all that bollocks. And I've actually spoken to a lot of people online, and they all sound like my fucking age. So I do think we are going to come across a lot of middle-aged gamers as well as young people. It's going to be pretty cool. Everyone getting together, fucking playing Star Wars, young and old. It's going to be interesting. But the multiplayer for sure is going to be very frustrating. I'm worried if how long I can last on this game unless I get good at it. I'll be honest with you, because if I just keep getting myself owned all the fucking time, Star Wars or not, I will put my joypad down. I've yet to do fleet battles. I've only done dogfights at the moment. Um, the dogfights are okay. That's where I was getting owned all the time. There was some mismatching in some of the level making. Like there's a few guys who are like level 15, level 16, and I'm with the levels ones and twos. I'm a level one myself. And now I think I'm a level four now. Um, you know, it's okay for what it is. I'm looking forward to fleet battles. There'll be more enemies. There'll be player enemies as well as lots of AI enemies. So there'll be more targets for you and for everyone to go for. And this game does offer as well AI multiplayer, so you can play with your mates or play by yourself against the AI. If you don't want to go up against real people, so it's got something for everyone, I guess. I myself want to go up against real people, But if I'm shit, I might just have to do the AI, or might just say fuck this game. Who knows? There's so much stuff coming out in the future when it comes to gaming. I mean, this game might just be a little blip in the road before something else comes along. Because there's a few games, a couple from Ubisoft, as well as obviously Cyberpunk, and I think there's a couple more which I have totally forgotten about, all coming out. So yeah, anything more to say about Squadrons, Bob?
No, I mean, just enjoying watching myself play here and embarrass myself.
You're doing all right, mate. Don't beat yourself up too much. I think this game could have done. It's funny, like everyone wanted to be in space when they made the first Battlefront, but with this game, when it comes to the combat, I would like to maybe have one or two planets where we were flying around canyons and shit like that. Maybe shooting a few tanks on the ground and stuff like that. A bit like how Rogue Squadron was back in the day on the N64. You know what I'm on about?
Yeah, I mean that's more of Battlefront territory, though. I feel like this game is definitely more like the TIE Fighter and X-wing variety.
I guess. I guess. But yeah, okay. So yeah, that's us on Squadrons. We both own it. We're both big Star Wars fans. We've both been playing it a fair bit since we got it, and I'll be playing it a little bit more. Playing on my Twitch account. That's Zamario01 on Twitch, and you're like Milk Toast Gaming, I believe. Is that what you call
Yep,
yourself?
we're over at Milk Toast Gaming. I'll have when this is uploaded on YouTube on the Nerd Nation channel, I'll have a link in the description. But yep, I mean, I play. Right now, I'm playing. Megan is playing Resident Evil 2. Well, uploading Resident Evil 2. She actually just beat it last night in real life, but we're still currently uploading. I'm doing Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which may go on hold for this game to come out during the week. Still going through Avengers, which I've technically beaten, but is still being released on YouTube. So I've split everything off into like 30-minute parts. So it's like, it's just something if you want to sit down and watch for a couple minutes or even have it on in the background while you're doing something, you can just sit down and enjoy it. I mean, me and Megan have fun playing, just stuff and yada yada. So anyway.
I want to quickly ask you, as you got Avengers, have you been playing any of the multiplayer on it?
No, no.
Have you
I
dipped your
mean,
toe
you
in it?
guys, yeah, I mean, the only people I'd go online with and play is with you guys, and no one's really seemed interested. So I'm just kind of not doing it. I mean, but yeah,
Okay.
there'll be a link in the description to me and Daydreamer's Twitch. So I mean, if even if you want to watch on
Okay.
there, you can as well. And I'll put Zamario's Twitch on there too, just because we're talking more games this time. So. Actually, I can probably put them. Can I? I don't know if I can put it in the comments here. Yeah, it says I can't post to Facebook groups. So sorry, y'all. You gotta type a couple buttons and figure it out and find it. So sad.
Yeah, fair
Anyway,
enough.
that's it for me.
All right, so yeah, that's us with Squadrons. I hope I get to love this game and be really good at it because right now I'm really shit. So on to sorry, I'm about to say the Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys. Yeah. Peter Pan. Here we come.
No, I was thinking more the vampire movie, mate. Um, but yeah, the Boys, season 2, episode 7. Now, in my opinion, this was probably the most quietest of all the episodes. Not saying that it was shit, but when it comes to a lot of craziness, and there was craziness in this episode. I mean, it is the Boys after all. It kind of saved it till the end. Um, it feels like it was a setup. This was a stereotypical penultimate episode setup for a season finale. That's
Is
how it
next week
felt.
the season finale?
Yeah, it's only 8 episodes in the season.
Gotcha.
So season 2, episode 7 of the Boys basically begins with. Well, by the way, it's called Butcher, the Baker, and the Candlestick Maker. That's the name of this episode. And Butcher and the boys are with that FBI agent as well as Lamplighter, because they're going to use Lamplighter as evidence to testify against Vought about their corruption and all of that. They really want to basically take Vought down as well as a lot of the superheroes. On the flip side of that, we have Homelander and Stormfront getting properly together now, and they've also basically got their hooks into Stormlander, or yeah, I think Stormlander is a good name, but
Yeah, Stormlander is a good hyphenate or a couple name.
Homefront. But nevertheless, basically they want to get Homelander's
I like Stormlander
son.
better.
They want to get Homelander's son because he's a natural born super, and you know what's a bit weird, you know, I mean the kid's not really done much kiddie stuff, and you kind of notice that as well. At the same time, you don't want to be siding with Nazis when it comes to this particular argument, but they do make a point. And this kid needs to be seeing the rest of the world, and I actually don't blame Homelander for taking his son and showing him there's a big fucking world out there, and you shouldn't be cooped in this goddamn fucking whatever you're in.
I actually agree. I actually agree with Homelander too. Like,
yeah, I totally agree with him. You know, it's unfortunate he's had to come to this, but that's how it was in the episode. Homelander just takes his fucking son, and she can't do shit about it. And looks like Stormfront is going to be playing mum to that kid, and because she has no problems with Homelander already having a son, so they all look set to go. This was pretty much a Lamplighter episode. I had no idea he was going to cop himself near the end of this episode. We also got Starlight being captured by what's his name, Black Noir, and she gets put into, it looks like a kryptonite cell where she can't use her powers, and she does escape because they find out that she's been the boys find out that she's been taken hostage, and Huey and Lamplighter decide to go and rescue her. Lamplighter, you know, Lamplighter is an interesting character. He's quite a pervy fucking wanker, but he feels so much remorse. You just didn't realize how much remorse he felt until he finally took his own life when he was standing in front of the statues at Vought. There's so much in this episode. We'll talk about the ending a little bit later. I'm talking so much right now. What did you think about this episode so far, Roberto?
it was okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do agree about Homelander taking his son. I think that he's not wrong there. Stormfront's getting on the level of annoying with me, just like I'm annoyed with Homelander. Like, actually, Homelander's less annoying now than Stormfront is. Stormfront's more annoying to me now than Homelander. But in the beginning of the season, Homelander was just so annoying and just so, I guess, broken. And I guess it just and now Stormfront's just being manipulative, which irritates me too. So I don't know. I just don't like evil people. And then watching them on my screen is like, ugh. But I love the part with the boys, and stuff like that. I like the hearing. I don't know if you've gotten into that yet, but I mean, I'm not really diving into it, but I mean, I like the hearing thing. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
And I don't know. This episode was okay for me. The whole side plot with Butcher and his dad was okay. I mean, it kind of came out of nowhere to me, but it wasn't terrible.
From fucking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Well, and it was, as I said, it wasn't terrible. Like, I mean, I didn't care that much, but I wasn't like, oh god, that, like, honestly, I felt more like that when Homelander and Stormfront were on the screen. I don't know. I mean,
I remember Ginger. I was just speaking to Ginger about this. Well, I saw him talking to Christine about this, and they were arguing back and forth and saying stuff like this is just padding. It doesn't really add to the story. But in my opinion, I disagree, because this is how stories are. Sometimes stories need to start somewhere, and what you think is padding is just the beginning of some other story that may happen.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't think that this is padding at all. I think there will be a payoff. I just don't think it'll be this season. But I think they're starting, because here's the thing: when you get towards the end of a season, you have, especially in serialized storytelling, you have to start the story for next season so you can bring people back for next season. You don't want to leave it on a cliffhanger, but you want to be like, wait a minute, whatever happened with Butcher's dad, like, or something like that. And that'll kind of bring you back for next season, to kind of see how that whole thing plays out.
We got a lot of Butcher's family this season, didn't we?
Hmm.
You
His
know,
mom,
his auntie,
his
we
aunt,
heard about his brother and stuff
his
like that,
yep.
Penny and
We're getting the
stuff.
backstories now.
But the issue with Homelander is, I think deep down, I think some people feel that there's almost a possible redemption for Homelander, and there can't be. The guy's a
No.
despicable human being. I mean, I don't know because he's so fucking charming at times. I think people actually fall. His acting is so good that even the fucking people watching at home are falling for it, and they're thinking that this guy can be redeemed because he could be quite a charming individual.
No, he needs to die
But
eventually.
he's a horrible human being, for fuck's sake. There's no redeeming this guy. Have you not watched season one, what he did in season one, what he's done this season to the fucking blind spot and to fucking doppelganger? I mean,
Yeah.
doppelganger, it's fucked. It's kind of scary. What the character of doppelganger, but he didn't deserve to necessarily die. You know what I mean? He was trying to keep Homelander happy, for fuck's sake, and then fucking Homelander kills him. Yeah, so he's crashed two fucking planes as well in season one. So yeah, Homelander's a despicable human being. There's no redemption for this guy. Don't look for one. He is the bad guy. He's not gonna come around. You know what I mean? Um, and then with him and Stormfront now, what a power couple. Uh, I'm hoping they don't kill off Stormfront at the end of season two. They can't afford to kill her off. I think she needs to be in season two. I remember we spoke, and by the way, this is a massive spoiler coming right now. So if you don't know about this, when I say spoiler, this is a comic book spoiler. So it might not necessarily happen, but
So if you don't want to know what happens in the comic books, just in case, click off now.
okay.
Then come back in 2 minutes.
So basically, I told you this before. In the comic books, Black Noir is um, is a clone of Homelander, insurance policy. But now we've kind of seen the bottom of Black Noir's face, and him having a nut allergy is fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant. You can come back now, by the way. Um,
But
so,
wait, does
yeah, you can
Homelander
go.
have that same
No,
thing?
no, I'm not sure about that. But the point is, looking at the face, what we saw, it doesn't look like a white dude. Now, some people are making the argument that his face could have been damaged by the explosion at
And that's
season
what I
one.
was thinking.
In season one, but he did see some scar tissue damage as well on his face. That is a possibility. So, but in my opinion, and I hope they do this, they don't go with the Homelander being a clone and in the disguise of Black Noir. I don't want them to do that um, because it's so renowned and everyone fucking knows about it that for them to go down that route would be stupid, in my opinion. It wouldn't be a payoff at all, but everyone fucking knows. And by showing us a little bit of Black Noir's face, we kind of get an idea that maybe he's not Homelander after all. And I hope he isn't. It's the comic when it comes to television, you've got to stay. You don't have to, as long as you're kind of faithful to the essence of what you're showing on comic book form on the television. It doesn't matter if you sway away a little bit from the source material, as long as the essence is there, you know. And if they don't make Black Noir Homelander's clone, I'm totally fine with that. But I don't believe Homelander's. I don't believe Black Noir will reveal his identity this season. I think they'll leave that for next season. What do you think?
Oh, I don't. I think they're gonna hold that off for later seasons. And as I said, I mean, if they're not going the clone route, which is fine. I don't. Clones don't necessarily make anything better. Um, because I mean, the actor who is playing Black Noir under the mask is a black guy. So I don't know if they plan
Yeah.
to change it or if that's just the stand-in actor for or the stand-in person, so that
Well,
obviously Black Noir and Homelander can be on the screen at the same time.
here's a
Um,
fun fact, by the way. The actor who plays Black Noir in real life has a tree nut allergy, which inspired them to give Black Noir a tree nut allergy as his weakness. And
really?
as a yeah, honestly, I
No.
found that one out through the interwebs. And by the way, as far as a superhero having a weakness, did you find that ingenious or stupid?
I mean, it was funny. I thought it was great. Like Maeve just walking up and
Genius.
shoving like she's like, "Is that an almond joy?" And
Yeah.
she's like, "Well, yeah." But here's the other thing. I mean, I know he has scar tissue and everything, but he heals, right?
Doesn't mean he won't be scarred. Because
Okay.
especially with
Well,
with the
I know.
explosion, he
Stormfront healed.
burnt off his skin.
Yeah, but I think Stormfront heals completely. Like doesn't because she does because remember when when Homelander shot her in the chest. I mean, now it looks fine.
Yeah, but she's a different type of superhero.
Okay. Well, I don't know what their powers are technically because I know that Starlight's also bulletproof, and like a lot of the supers are technically
Well,
bulletproof.
like for instance, in season one, A Train, he was pulling a train. Yeah, in one of the early episodes of season one, he's pulling a train. A train. He's not known to be super strong, but if you can pull a fucking train, you must be pretty strong. You
Well, that's what I'm
know.
saying. It seems like some of these powers are pretty universal, like being bulletproof and having super strength.
Translucent was bulletproof, pretty much. Like he couldn't be damaged.
That's only when his powers were activated, though, wasn't it?
I don't. Well, the point is like he's still either or. The point is he's still he's almost invulnerable, almost as we found out. But
Unless you shove a C4 up his butt.
yeah. So there's a lot more to these superheroes than meets the eye. And what's her face? Cindy, the one who was fucking with the telepathic powers, who was blowing up heads, and we're gonna get to that in a sec. Um, she's bulletproof. We've seen that as well. But at the
That's what
same
I'm
time,
saying. I feel like some of these powers are universal, like
no,
the
but
bulletproof and the strength. I feel like a lot of them are. Maybe their strength it varies on degrees. Like Homelander's way stronger than A Train, but they've definitely got some enhanced strength and
yeah.
bulletproof. Like a lot of them have that going on.
No, but at the same time, a couple of things did bother me a lot. Yeah. For instance, remember the acid guy last week when he was throwing up acid and he ended up burning his own face? How is that possible? Surely he would be immune to the fucking acid. You know?
I maybe because it's his own brand. Maybe that's why.
Now the argument is that because he had Compire V injected into him, only certain parts of him were immune to it. But
Oh well, maybe.
maybe because he was a human, he was an adult who had it injected into him. But that bugged me. And same with Lamplighter. Now Lamplighter was like all the other soups. He was injected as a kid. Why the fuck is he not fireproof? How is he not fireproof? Surely he would have burnt himself years ago. You know what I mean? Um, I found that a bit weird. Things like that bug me a little bit. Surely, if these powers can't hurt you, surely fire could never hurt lamplighter. Just weird. I find that weird. I know you can manipulate the flame, but I don't know. I don't know how you feel about those things.
I mean, it's just plot hole stuff that I don't really dig too far into because it's a TV show. I mean, you can sit there and argue all the live long day that they should have thought of it, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's a pretty big production, so it's like not everybody's on the same page.
Watching this season, it's made me realize that the theme of family plays a massive part in this show. Whether it be the boys as a family, or the seven as a family, or the actual family members, whether it be their partners, like with Queen Maeve, or their mums, like with Starlight, or their dads, like with Butcher, um, and with Huey as well, with his dad in season one, who was played by Simon Pegg. Uh, families always played a role, and you've also got children as well now involved in it, like with Homelander and his son. So, and obviously Homelander being a dad himself. So, yeah, family played an interesting part in all this craziness. And this episode ended in a way that I wasn't anticipating. Um, Butcher basically threatened to kill the this particular ex-Vought doctor's entire family unless he confessed at a Vought hearing. So this doctor obviously then decides to confess, and when we have the hearing, just before the hearing kicks off, a member of the law head blows up, then the doctor's head blows up, and then Shockwave, is that his name? The
I
speedster.
think so. He
His
wasn't even on
his
the team that long. I mean, you never even
Yeah,
saw
I
him
love it.
besides
I
when he
love
was
it.
first introduced, and like,
I love it so much. You know what I mean? But I did enjoy it. But fuck Shockwave, man. You know what I mean? Fuck him. You know, he's cannon fodder. And he got used as cannon fodder. He was hardly in the show. And he got used as cannon fodder. And he head blows up. And then various other people heads are blowing up. People got blood all over them. People are slipping on blood fucking everywhere. You know, this makes that scene in The Watchmen look like a Disney cartoon because there's no pink and purple smoke coming out of these heads. It's blood and fucking brains and bits of bone and eyeball and shit all over the fucking place. What a crazy ending to this episode. I don't
it's like
know,
visiting the water park,
but
but
Butcher
with
was
blood.
pissed because he was expecting the confession from the Doctor to be the downfall of Vought and at least definitely Homelander, but that's not come to fruition because that Doctor's dead. So we God knows what's going to happen. The Seven might take advantage of this and say that they're the ones being attacked, and they can, which I think is what's going to happen, in my opinion. At the same
Although
time,
Homelander and Stormfront were just kind of standing there looking around. I mean, everybody
yep.
probably like they weren't even worried. Like if I were somebody like in modern like and that was on live TV. It's not like that they could spin that. That was live TV. So it's like people could sit there and go, why are Stormfront and Homelander just standing there looking around? Like they're
Of
not even
course,
worried.
look, of course, you're going to have people, yeah, who are going to be very skeptical and blame Homelander and Stormfront for what the fuck's going on. At the same time, as we know in this world, there's going to be lots of people who are going to be backing them, saying that they were victims in all of this, and probably because they have superpowers, they survived that shit. You know, and that's how it's going to be. It's going to be a very split down the middle sort of thing. By the way, we did forget the Church of the Collective, Eagle the Archer. How do you feel about Eagle the Archer? Yeah, he's my brother, man. He helped me out and stuff like that. Well, you should never talk to him again. He's been excommunicado. He's a horrible human being. And then fucking the Deep changes his mind and says, yeah, he's a fucking scumbag.
I mean, yeah. I don't I
Malicious
think
cult
season
leader.
3 I think season 3 is probably going to lean into the church a little bit more cuz as of right now they've got I mean, they don't have A Train, but I mean, so far he's kind of with them.
Well, there is a
They got
need
the
for a
deep
speedster. I think Marathon Man might come back.
who?
Marathon Man, he's been mentioned twice or two or three times.
Well, I know in next season they've already cast Soldier Boy, which
And
is their
Soldier
version
Boy,
of
yeah.
Captain America. So I mean, if he comes and he's a part of the church because he's God's righteous warrior or whatever. I mean, I feel like the church is definitely going to play a big role in season 3 because they're definitely gathering supers. You know what I mean? Like, and so
Yeah.
they got the deep, and now they think they have A Train. So now they're like, oh, we don't need Eagle. Like, we don't need Eagle Eye or whatever his
No,
name
but
is.
the
Like,
reason why he got excommunicadoed is because he was told not to keep in contact with his mum because his mum doesn't like this Church of Collective shit. But he wants, and so he was told to get rid of her and never talk to her again. Obviously, he wouldn't, so the church kicked him out instead, and then that's why it's gone to what it is. But I'll be honest with you, the deep, the only thing, even though it's kind of interesting seeing the deep of the church, I do feel his transition has come super quick. You know, like what I mean, he can't be that. I mean, the guy's can't. I mean, I know he's coming across as quite pretty much of an idiot, but I thought he had a little bit more to him than that. He seems to be easily manipulated, which is kind of surprising. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see that particular story how that ends up.
yeah, I'm
Um,
not. I mean, I'm not too vested in the whole Church of the Collective or whatever. Um,
Starlight as well, though she's now a fugitive as far as Vought is concerned because they're the
well,
ones
I
that
think
fucked
she
her
should
up
have
in
been
the
a
filter.
fugitive since the end of season 1, technically, but I don't care.
It'll be interesting to see where they go with her. I am expecting somebody to be killed off this season, somebody significant, and I'll give you my thoughts on who that is. That is Queen Maeve. I think Queen Maeve is a dead woman. What about you?
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I was thinking that they were probably going to kill somebody off. I just wasn't sure. I was thinking, I think, because I mean, Queen Maeve right now is trying to rally troops against Homelander. So I mean, Queen Maeve is probably going to bite the big one. So that's a good pick. Or
Possibly Stormfront, but I hope not.
possibly Stormfront, but I mean either that or I mean if they go the clone
Mother's
route, it
Milk.
might be Homelander. You
Maybe
know, like
Mother's Milk might die. I think.
I hope not. I like Mother.
And
I like
Frenchie.
the problem is I mean yeah, I like a lot of the boys. So I really hope they don't kill any of them off. I mean,
Yeah, but you can imagine Camino and Frenchie. They're getting a bit close, and Frenchie gets killed finally, doing his Frenchie craziness. And
yeah,
Camino
well,
goes on a mad one again. Goes around killing people, ripping their faces off and shit.
or maybe she dies. She tries to get revenge for
That's a
maybe Frenchie
possibility.
and her die because you know maybe Stormfront
But she is
kills.
like Wolverine. She's got healing powers, so to kill her,
Yeah, but or that yeah maybe Stormfront kills Frenchie as well. Camino goes crazy, and then you know Stormfront
Camino will
just
get killed by Stormfront easily. So that's the thing. I think Stormfront with her electric power could blow her up into little bits.
well
Um,
then that's what I'm saying. I think like
but
maybe
he
that
hates
whole
her.
relationship is going to go up in flames together.
Yeah, I
So
can't see there being a happy ending because the boys don't do happy endings. You know.
yeah,
One more thing, there was a rumor regarding Black Noir and you saw him under the influence of Gus, and in that particular episode when Black Noir broke into Butcher's aunt's house, and Gus was controlling him. You know, he rang Gus from Breaking Bad, the owner of
is that
the chairman
Pablo
of War,
Esposito?
the chairman. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm calling him Gus
I don't
because I
know who
forgot.
I don't know anything about Breaking Bad or
I'm
Gus
calling
or
him
whoever.
Gus. I'm calling him Gus for now because
Okay.
I
Well,
forgot his character's name. But the point is, yeah, is that some people are saying that Black Noir is either Gus's son or a clone of Gus, which is why he's so obedient.
I would say maybe his son. I don't know if I mean maybe, but as I said, if you introduce clones, I'm kind of out, you know, of that part. Like I don't know. The only I don't see it.
Well, the clones are in the comics, so for me personally, if they decide to make him a clone of somebody else, I'm fine with that because they're kind of staying in source reasonably, um, you know, respectful to the source material. At the same time, they're going their own way.
Yeah, let's see
So
how that worked out with Batman Hush.
yeah, but Riddler. Yeah, but we're talking about an established character in Riddler. Like the boys themselves, there's not much known. You know, like there's still a bit of an enigma when it comes to what the boys is. When it comes to their media, not many people know much about them, and which is why the show is so popular in a way because you're learning about these great things and the scary thing about the boys, as I mentioned in that YouTube video I sent on the Nation, is is that if superheroes were real, they might be like this
Yeah.
because of the world we live in this very selfish world we live in. You know, what makes the boys so popular is that this is possibly the most realistic version of how we would see superheroes on this world.
The reason why it's popular is because it's gory and it's shocking.
No, it's
It's the
more than
Game
that.
of
It's
Thrones.
clever.
It's the Game
It's
of Thrones,
clever.
the superhero. It's the
It's
Game of Thrones, the superhero shows.
it's a lot
No,
cleverer than people give it credit for, and yes, it is shocking as well. Which make when you
but Game of Thrones was also shocking and clever and well written
yeah,
back
but
in the.
you get all of those elements, and if sometimes you can have those elements, and if you don't have all of the elements, then it's not going to be good. But it has all of the elements. Yes, it is gory. Yes, it is shocking. But is it clever? Yes, and that what makes it so great. Then all of these other things are even enhanced. They make it better. Um, if it didn't have such a clever script and great actors, it's got fucking two New Zealanders leading the fucking show in Homelander and Butcher. You know, these great actors playing these roles, as well as a decent supporting cast and people like Jack Quaid, you know, and Gus from fucking Big and what's her face from Karate Kid, in this previous season, and she had a small cameo this season. There's some good actors, in this, and they're enhancing the product, and uh, I love this. This is my favorite television show right now. Nothing comes close to this, and I'm not happy with the spin-off as I mentioned earlier. Uh, it's too soon. You want to spin off after 5 seasons, not two. You want to spin off when you've got so many established characters that you're fond of them and you want to see where they go next. Then that's when you want to spin off. Not this. Not now. I'm still learning about these fuckers and they're giving us a spin off. I'm not happy. But other than that, this show is the best thing on television or on the internet or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Are you ready to jump onto Lower Decks?
Absolutely, I'm ready.
Excellent. All right. My memory is getting a bit hazy with this Lower Decks episode. It was the penultimate episode of the season, episode 9, season 1. I want to go straight to the end of the episode, where Boimler finds out that Mariner is the daughter of the captain, and that was a big surprise. Now, personally, I thought everyone knew that Mariner's mum was the fucking captain. Did I miss a trick here? Did you think that too?
No, everybody didn't know. That's the whole thing. Nobody knew.
Oh God! All this time,
I don't even think Ransom, the first officer, knows.
The point is, I thought it was obvious that everyone knew for some reason. And watching some reviews, a lot of people thought the same, which is kind of surprising. But this for me was the weakest episode of the season. There's certain things I didn't like about this episode. Basically, they were going on a holodeck training program just to basically learn about themselves and to better themselves. Once again, we get another animal, alien, a bird who's a professor and shit like that. Personally, I don't like seeing all these animal fucking aliens. We've had a rat alien, we've had lizard aliens, we've had cat aliens. Now we've got bird aliens. For fuck's sake, can we stop making our aliens look like fucking animals from Earth? Please, 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 please. You know, what I mean, this shit bugs me. You know, it bugs me a lot because it's a lack of fucking imagination at times when it comes to creating species.
Well, at least they don't all look human.
Yeah, but they look Earth. They look like they're from Earth. You know what I mean? Bird animal, fucking bird species, cat species, rat, lizard. I'm sure there's been other ones. You know, we've seen it in the insectoid one in the fucking Enterprise when they were trying to be like the Separatists and shit from Star Wars. Fucking joke that bollocks was. But I didn't like this episode for Mariner, but at the same time, because like the way Mariner wanted to kill her mum, the real Mariner in the holodeck program, that bugged me. And the funny thing is, Boimler basically tried to create a realistic version of every single person on the what's the name of the spaceship? The
Cerritos.
The Cerritos. Yeah. In that holodeck. And when she made Mariner, that was the replication of Mariner we saw who defended her mum. That was the real Mariner who, in a way, the real Mariner doesn't show like this brave, heroic, good person. She always wants to be a fucking, a fucking skiver or whatever the fuck. Somebody who fucks around. That's how she likes to be seen, but really she's a very heroic person, which is how the holodeck portrayed her, if you know what I'm saying. But Boimler put in all that information. Anyway, I thought this episode was kind of weird. I didn't like it too much. I understand the ending of it. What did you think of it?
I mean, it was fine, middle of the road for me. I liked a little bit of Tindy getting kind of her being like, look, I know Orions who haven't been pirates in like 5 years, and it's like, oh god, I mean, she's dressed up in like the slave Orion outfit, and I mean, it's really funny because it's like Mariner's just being like kind of racist in a fictional sort of sense, but like she doesn't realize it because it's just accepted that Orions are slave pirate yada yada yadas. And it's just she's just like, so she gets mad. I mean, I thought that was good for her. The part of what's his face? See, I can't remember the guy's name with the implant.
Me
He him running off just to tell the chief engineer that he's the best engineer. I mean, that was a little bit too hard of a bait and switch. Like they tried too hard on that one.
I didn't like that either.
Like I kind of was expecting him to maybe like challenge him to a competition of engineering or something like that. Like be like, I challenge you to an engineering competition, and then they would do this whole engineering competition, and like he would actually beat the chief engineer, but he didn't want to do that in real life. But he just wanted to know if he was better than the chief engineer in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like the blind admiration, and he's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like,
well, I did like the bit where he said that this is an actual replication of the crew, and then he goes to that Bajoran security officer, and he talks to him, and he goes, "I'm always pissed off," like that. I'm always pissed off, and then they go, "Yeah, look, it's just like him." That bit killed me. That bit fucking killed me. But
you know what I would like to see?
yeah.
I've seen a lot of the actors in real life. I would love it if they did like okay, so you know how have you ever seen the show Community?
I've heard of it. That's all I know.
Oh, okay. Well, they would always do these weird shows, and it's about people in a community college, but they would always do these weird episodes where it's like they did claymation episodes where like it was all claymation or or like animated. I would love it if they just like did some like they went through some random temporal rift and they all became their like live action counterparts,
That would
like
be
their voice
great.
actors.
But do they look like their characters though?
A lot of them do. A lot of them do. Some of them don't, but I think the ones that matter do. I know the
Okay.
captain looks very similar. I know Mariner looks very similar. I know Tindy looks pretty. I mean, you put some green paint on her, you would
Jack
look.
Quaid as Boimer, perfect.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Jack. Yeah, you just put some purple hair on him, and he'd be perfect.
yeah,
But yeah, I think a lot of the ones that matter would be right.
that
Like I
would be
think they would look.
great. That would be
But
great.
I feel like that they should do that. They should do like an opposite, like where they go from
Yeah, but that's
like
like a season 3 or season 4 sort of thing where it's been kind of established now, and that's the sort of thing you do, or maybe on a Christmas special even. You
yeah, they
know,
could be like, why are all of our oh, and I love when they changed into the movie, like when she wrote the movie and she made the movie format, that there were lens flares
yeah, the lens
everywhere.
flare. I love that.
I was like, oh
JJ, a
my
nod
god,
to
there's lens
JJ.
flares everywhere.
Yeah, that was great. Proper nod to JJ, man. This show, the way why it's so popular with Star Trek fans, is because it I mean, this show is an Easter egg hunt. It really is. This show is going to be full on homage, paying homage, taking the piss, doing parodies of the very thing we love, and it keeps doing it. But this episode, unfortunately, wasn't their most top tier. I'd give this episode maybe a generous 6 out of 10. It had some funny moments, but it looks like once again, like the boys, this episode was a setup for the season finale, because now Boimler knows that Mariner is the daughter of the captain, and for some reason that's a big deal. But we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's a shame it's ending though, isn't it, mate?
Oh, I mean, I think they've already renewed it for a second season, and I think it's been. I think they've already started pre-production. So
I'm very, very happy about that. Um, this is the best Star Trek in years.
oh yeah,
Um,
that I
it's
agree. I mean, I think well, you're not going to agree with me on this, but I think it's the best Star Trek writing since Enterprise. But you're not going to agree with me on
I'm
that.
gonna go back to Voyager.
Yeah, yeah, right. Okay, I'll
For me,
I'll see your Voyager and raise you a DS9. Let me put it that way.
okay, look, we're running out of shows here, but the point is this feels like a continuation of that era of Star Trek, which is the best era of Star Trek. The DS9, the TNG, the Voyager era.
It
Um,
feels more, yeah. I mean, it feels more so than Discovery or Picard. I mean, as I said, they're kind of they got it serialized for Discovery and Picard, which basically makes it that's why you're feeling that is because it's more of a TNG era style format.
well, the hybrid now is how it's got to be done, and this does it really well. This does a kind of semi-serialized format with very contained episodes at the same time.
I think this show is more contained than you think. I mean, the only overarching story is the Mariners and her mom being the captain. That's it.
No,
Like
there is
that's
this.
very
No,
that's very
no,
next gen.
we're Boyman trying to get promoted and shit.
Yeah, but I think
But
that's
that's a
just
part of his
I think that's just
character.
a part of his character or his
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
personality, not
yeah. I
I don't
guess.
think that that's a story arc happening currently.
I guess. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so that's been our take on what we've done this weekend. You got anything more to say, Roberto?
Nope.
Great. Well, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, on YouTube, Nerd Nation for both, as well as our Discord, Nerd Nation on that as well.
Links
Uh,
in the description.
yes. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.